Hi everyone, I just wanted to share this layout with you. I'm having a go at a little bit of mixed media today, so you can see I've got my watercolours out. I by no means do a lot of mixed media, but I've seen this technique and thought I might give it a try and thought it would lend itself well to this photo that I have. So it's a 5x5 photo of my daughter with an outdoor artwork behind her, and so I thought this technique would work well because I could pick up on the colours in the artwork in the photo and put it onto the white background. So this technique, what people are calling it is smooshing. I'm not quite sure if that's the technical term, but that's what I've heard it being called. And basically, if you haven't seen it before, it's where you paint some kind of liquid medium onto a piece of plastic, and in this case I'm just using some packaging from craft supplies, and then smooshing it onto the page, and it creates that sort of unique pattern, I guess, in the background. So I did start by marking out roughly where I wanted my photo to go, just with a little bit of pencil and just under the corner of the photo, so I don't have to erase it later. And so I started with the blue because that was the main colour in the background of the photo there, and also just grabbing some green now and sort of toning that blue down a little bit, creating a bit more of an acre effect. And I quite like this technique because you get sort of some new blends of colours when you overlap the colours. So I just keep putting the photo back into place and making sure that I'm doing the mixed media where the photo is not going to be, rather than hiding it behind the photo, because I am fairly guilty of that. Is when I sort of paint on a background, I get this really great background effect, and then by the time I add my layers on top, you can't see most of it. So I'm just going with a bit of an orange colour there, because the photo does have some orange in the background as well, and just mixing that up. I'm using the same piece of plastic, I just have a wipe there, and you can see me just wiping away the paint as I go and adding the next colour. So I think the next colour that I go with is like a light pink colour, just to tone down that orange a little bit. I thought it was just a little bit orange, so just adding a little bit more to that. And actually mixing two different colours there, so a bright pink and a light pink as well, almost a skin colour tone, just to sort of soften the edges of those colours that are already there. And as I said, I think it works really well because it does pick up brilliantly on the colours in the photo. So I think the next thing I do is put some layers behind the photo, and you won't see me do this. I do this off camera because I had a bit of a break while I let the background dry and then came back to it. And I do add some splatters of gold Mr. Huey's mist, just to those areas that I've painted, so that there's a little bit of extra mixed media going on there. I am trying to dabble in a bit more mixed media. And then that's when I sort of leave it, walk away, and I come back, and off camera I will have already layered some tissue paper behind the photo, just to give it some extra layers there. I didn't want to add lots of paper because I didn't want to cover up the background. I really liked how that turned out, but tissue paper just kind of gave that background to the photo. So you can see I think it was about 2 or 3 layers of tissue paper, and I only thought about it because it was sitting on my desk, that I thought I would add it. So I've got myself a white doily here, and I'm also going to give that a bit of a spray with that gold Mr. Huey's mist, just to soften it so it's not so stark and it stands out a little bit on that white background. And I do just dab a little bit off there as well, so I don't want it to be quite a strong gold, I just want it to be quite a soft sort of gold tinge to that doily. So I just take that off to the side for now and start thinking about where my photo is going to go. I've got this little strip from a cut apart sheet that I had of the film strips, and it's actually it's clear, so it just lets the paint in the background come through, and I just had a piece there and thought, that'd go nice well with this layout as well. I'm just looking at a bit of flare that I might be able to put on the layout. I think that would lend itself well to the middle of one of those film strips. And I've also got these love hearts stickers. They're from the craft store, and so picked up a pack of them. I think they were $1 or $2, and there was 4 or 5 sheets. So I am trying to use them wherever I can because I have lots and lots of them. Just looking at a pack of Amy Tan stickers and seeing if there's anything that might work well. Because they're watercolour effect on the stickers, I thought that it might lend itself well to this layout as well. I do try and keep it fairly simple. The photo I think is quite a bold photo. It's a larger photo because it's a 5x5 square photo, and so and the pattern in the background, I don't want to lose that effect of the background. So I am sort of trying to play things down a little bit and not add too many layers or too many levels of embellishment and things like that. But at the moment I'm just looking through my wood veneer pieces and pulling out some little love hearts for each of the clusters that I'm going to create. So I had a little bit of a rough idea of how I wanted it to look, but you can see I was struggling to find some pieces, so I took them all out onto the desk and start pulling out the love hearts. And I have lots of different shaped ones, so I was trying to choose them all very similar, but you can see the 3 large ones I pull out are different shapes, and then I've pulled out same 3 medium size and 3 small size. Or they're actually all the 2 that are smaller are quite small, but the little ones are teeny tiny ones. So now just going to stick my photo down. I've got a rough idea of what I want it to look like. I decide it's time to commit to the photo, and I think the tissue paper just gives it that lovely little extra layer behind the photo. And I did cut it, but I was very rough in the way that I cut it, so it wasn't about having a perfectly straight line. It was just just to give it a little bit of movement behind the photo, I guess. You could tear it if you wanted to make it look a little bit more fluid, but I quite liked the cutting of it, and I just laid them up actually and cut them as a couple of layers together as opposed to individually. So just adding that doily in the background now and that film strip, and then going back to the flare to try and decide which flare I might use on this layout. So these are some flare that I picked up from BW. Mercy, I think is the brand, and I bought quite a few packets of these. They were really cheap. There's a packet and a half on that sheet there, but yeah, I think they were like $3 or something. So just using some gold and clear striped vellum to mark out where I'm going to embellish on the page, and that will sort of be the anchor for the embellishments that I'm using. And I think I go for a 3rd spot at the top there. Yep. So they're the 3 areas that I'm keen to embellish. This layout came together pretty quickly, excluding the drying time, so I think it took about half an hour to pull it all together, considering all I knew was I wanted to use that smooshing technique and pick up on the colours in that photo. I really didn't have much of an idea besides that, and the film strip was sitting on my desk, so it did sort of come together quite quickly considering I hadn't planned things out. Just looking at these little photo frames, they're from a Chamel collection, seeing whether I can use them there. And this little bowl you may have seen me pull out before. I have a little bowl on my desk every time I finish a project or want to do a bit of a tidy up. Anything that doesn't really have a home or doesn't go, or I couldn't be bothered putting away, I just chuck in this bowl. Every now and then I do have to clear it out because it gets quite full, and it is at the moment. But I may die cut a few shapes and I don't end up using them all, so I'll throw them in the bowl. So it's a good way of using up supplies, not having to cut more shapes, that sort of thing. But I think in the end I pull out a tag to use, but I don't know that I end up using it. So again, going back to those stickers and trying to decide what stickers might work for this project. Sorry if you can hear the whippersnippering in the background there. It's going on outside, but decide that I'm going to use that sticker that says Brilliant and have chosen a flare badge to go with that. So just looking now at what I'm going to do with the rest of the layout. and how I'm going to embellish. So just adhering that down. That seems to be lifting off now that the flare badge is on there, a bit more weight on there. And decide to pull out my Tim Holtz punch. So it's the one that has the pinked edges, and just pulled out a couple of papers that will coordinate with the layout, and deciding to do a bit of layering with those papers. So quite simple sort of embellishments. There's not really anything expensive on here. As I said, the film strip came from a 12 by 12 sheet, and so it's, you know, I think the 12 by 12 sheet cost me about $2, and so, you know, it's quite a cheap sort of embellishment. I've only used a small strip of it, and then I've just got some bits of paper that I'm punching out, a sticker, a flare badge. So it can create quite an interest to work on white background cardstock, and it means that you don't have to spend a lot of money on expensive embellishments. So I'm just looking at different papers that might coordinate with this layout to be adding the circles to. And I think I've got a Chamel collection off to the side there that I'm trying to look through, and this one is a travel paper. I can't remember the brand, but I have used it before, and it's very similar to Chamel's True Stories collection in the colours. And originally when I picked up this paper pad, I was actually going to buy Chamel's True Stories collection, and they didn't have it at my local craft store, so I ended up buying this one, but managed to find the other one later on. So I end up going with this. It's an unusual paper to describe, and I picked it up at a local $2 store years and years ago. But it's like a bone or a tan sort of coloured paper, and it's got little glitter circles all over it, so I thought that might create a nice layer of interest over the top of those pinked circles. So just layering those up now, laying them all out so that I can adhere them. Oh, actually I use them as a background, that's right. I use them as the pink circle, and the other ones as the circle that goes over the top, because the other paper's got like a gold glitter to it as well. So I thought it was quite a pretty paper and didn't want to end up covering that up. So just adhering those circles down now, and they'll go in those 3 places that I've marked out for embellishment. I'm using some foam, double-sided foam tape, I think, yep. So there's a bit of dimension on there rather than just sitting them flat. And I think that, you know, just simple things like that, and the tissue paper behind the photo, and a doily in the background that you don't really stick down properly, can give a lot of depth to the page and make it look a lot more creative and interesting than perhaps the supplies that went into it in the first place. It makes it look like you've put more money into it than you actually have. And then I've got these stickers. They're word phrase stickers from Amy Tan. I have to say they're probably one of my most favourite purchases that I've picked up. So the pack comes with 8 sheets of stickers, and they're just sort of like tiny word stickers, but they come in 4 different colours, so you get 2 sheets of each colour. You would have seen me using them on a lot of layouts, particularly the aqua one. I use that a lot. I've decided to use the orange sort of toned one here, just because there's a little bit of that orange or peachy colour in the photo. But yeah, definitely was a great investment. I think they were like $4 or $5. I got them on sale, but yeah, I've been using them forever and ever. And yeah, they just add a little bit extra to embellishment clusters. So just adding the hearts here, and that will sort of almost finish up the layout. So there will be a couple of still shots at the end, so you can have a closer look. I think there's one still shot at the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I will have more process videos to come. And yeah, thumbs up if you like the video, comment if there's something in particular you want to see a little bit more of, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. Oh, one thing is I haven't finished my title yet, so that word brilliant will form the title, but I put she's up there in foam thickers as well, so you'll see that at the end. Thanks for watching.